You played multiple sports in college.
So I went to law school
Okay.
right after I graduated. It was super stressful. And I didn't have an outlet. And so my first year, I was miserable.
Horrible.
I was so unhappy. I didn't know it at the time. I think I was having a huge identity crisis, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
You just kind of come to a screeching halt. Oh, like I've never told that story before, but nobody tells you. Like,
Move
keep
on to
this
the
part,
next thing.
right? Keep that part.
Yep. She's great.
She'll come in handy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
She'll keep you sane while you're doing this. I did a semester abroad, so I missed the first part of the season when I was a junior. I left as the leading scorer, and I took a deflated basketball with me
There she is.
and a pump. I never found a gym, but I had my basketball out in the driveway, and I'm sure the people that I stayed with thought I was insane. Yeah, you can't turn it off.
Yeah, turn it off.
And I think we've all tried it.
I'm just saying it aloud to you right now. I am an athlete. I still get this little tick. How long did it take you to really put that language to it?
Oh my gosh, probably, I bet 20 years.
Yeah.
And so what I tell people now, like when you go to school, don't.
Are you an athlete?
I'm totally an athlete. I'm 58 years old.
Yes.
And I still see myself as an athlete.
I love that. When we first started talking about, no former athlete, all of that, what things came to mind for you?
When I first heard it, I thought, oh my gosh, yes. Yes, this is me and a lot of the girls that I played with. I mean, I'm sure you have similar experiences. You start playing sports when you're probably 7 years old.
Yep.
My generation, we didn't have as much organized. Softball was it until we got into school. And that's really all I knew.
And you probably felt seen by it at the time too,
for sure.
Especially not having access to all the sports right off the bat.
And growing up in a small town, I mean,
Yeah.
even now when I go home, if some of the old timers are like, oh, you played on the girls' basketball team, or
They still recognize
Oh,
you
yeah.
by the sport. That
Yep.
She's the athlete.
Yep.
She's the athlete. I love that.
which is cool, right?
It
I mean, even
is.
as your body starts to not want to cooperate with those things, it's kind of nice to still be remembered that way.
It's really nice, especially in those formative years. I've had these reflections on, I was the kid that was willing to, talk to the parents, talk to the other adults and that. And then I'm like, they were always talking to me about sport. They were always acknowledging me and recognizing me for the sports I played. How was the last game?
Yeah.
So you learn to value that about yourself too. You're
and
like,
it was always a family activity. When
Yes.
I was playing, especially in high school, my girls' teams were very successful.
love that.
And it was my mom's sisters and their families would come watch, and it was a
It was
big
the
family
event.
thing. Yeah,
Family would travel together. And
exactly.
yeah, we were joking with Alex's grandparents when we were staying with them the other day, and they were like, oh yeah, remember that time that we were all in the van and drove to Tennessee? And they were having those memories, and they were talking too. We've been explaining, the conversations we've been having stuff, and they're like, yeah, tough for you guys to transition out of sports, but also for us. We didn't have the activities to go to, and that was when they spent a lot of time together too.
And it's funny, I hadn't thought about that, but like my parents, I think the whole time I was here at DePauw, maybe missed one game. And my sister was
Which is
still in school. She was 2
amazing.
years behind me.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's amazing. And I totally had that experience too. I was so fortunate. My freshman year, even when we were still in the South Coast Athletic Conference,
With all that travel.
we were traveling all over. And legitimately my freshman year, I think there was one game that I didn't have someone at, whether it was like my dad and grandpa drove over, my mom was there, which is special.
And it was, I remember for us in the mid to late 80s,
Yeah.
some kids, their parents couldn't come. And
Absolutely.
so then, my parents became the de facto parents, and it's like, oh, Mrs. Bauer is going to bring cookies.
Oh,
right. And so
it's the best.
Yeah.
It's so the best.
Especially after a crushing defeat, like you're excited to have some cookies.
Yeah, you're like, you know what? Mrs. Bauer's cookies, though, are going to be where it's at. That's fair.
They're still where it's at.
That's I bet they are. Talk to me a little bit about, you mentioned softball.
Mm-hmm.
Where did the Jenny Bauer sports story start? What sports did you play kind of through high school? Obviously, we know you played collegiate basketball, which is how we're connected. But yeah, tell me a little.
Probably like organized sports. It started with softball. I would have been, if I was starting at 7 or 8, it was in the early 70s.
Yeah.
That's all there was.
Totally.
There wasn't organized basketball for girls.
Mm-hmm.
You could be a cheerleader.
Of course, yes.
I wasn't interested in being a cheerleader.
That's
I wanted
fair.
to play.
That is totally fair.
So it was really softball. It was girl, and it was slow pitch. It wasn't fast
Yes.
pitch. And so it was summer softball, and I played it because clearly I'm sure my parents saw that I had a tendency to be
Yes.
athletic even young,
Yes.
right?
And from that young age too, you had that drive of, I just want to play.
I just
You're
want to
like,
play.
you hadn't had the experience of playing yet because it wasn't there. You weren't watching.
But I knew I
other
was going to
people.
dig it, right? I mean, you just know,
It was just in
right?
you.
It's in you, yes.
I love that.
And so then probably go to junior high. This might be late 70s now.
Yeah.
Volleyball, basketball, track, loved them all. Go to high school, continued all those, and then decided volleyball wasn't for me.
Fair.
And I thought, oh, I'll run cross country because it'll help for basketball. I ended up being okay at it.
Yeah.
And it probably ended up helping more for track. And then you've seen me standing up. I'm 5'4", 5'5" with my basketball shoes on.
Yeah.
You know,
Basketball
that
height's
wasn't
important.
that. You know, I thought I maybe could have had a chance to walk on at a D1 school, but it really wasn't going to be in the cards. And I had 5 cousins who came to DePauw before me, all
So
guys.
it was on the radar.
It was on the radar. We'd been here a ton to visit them. They were all athletes.
Yeah.
They ran track, cross country. I think one of them maybe played tennis. And so I felt comfortable here. And the crazy thing, I look back now and I thought, oh my God, what was I thinking? I loved basketball. I love basketball still, but I was always better at track. And so my senior year in high school, I'm all state in the 800. So I get some interest from schools for track, Yale, Northwestern. And I'm like, well, could I walk onto the basketball team? I'm sure they were like, you're insane. Right? Like, we don't want you touching a basketball if you're going to be on our track team. And so I was like,
Amazing.
even as an 18-year-old, I didn't think I could do just one thing, especially one thing in places that were cold, right? This was before like all the fancy things and tights and whatnot. And I had a younger sister and I was like, these weren't places that were going to give scholarships. And I was like, it felt selfish to even think about it. So I was like, you know what? I want to come to DePauw and I can play basketball and I can be happy and do the thing that I love.
That's amazing.
And so that's what I did. And then, of course, I get here and I think when you're 18 and you're all heady, and I didn't run track because they had a softball team.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I want to play softball, like, because my high school didn't have softball. And I was like, oh, I want to do that.
So you did it when you were little, but then you didn't have the opportunity to kind of explore that
Yes.
again.
And of course, most of the women that played on the basketball team also played on the softball team. So it just was and same coach for both. And I was not good at fast pitch, you know.
That's
I was a good
huge
fielder.
Change though.
Oh my gosh.
That's
I mean,
a huge
and they would tell
change.
me, when you see it leave your hand, you better start swinging. Yeah. So that wasn't.
Is an extremely hard transition.
So, but obviously played basketball for years, loved it.
Yeah.
Even not being successful, I mean, we made the best of it, right? We had a good time and we weren't, I think at the time, we might have been in it was GLCA, the Great Lakes
right.
College
Yeah.
Association. So we were playing teams in Ohio, some teams in Michigan, and then the small Indiana schools, Goshen, Hanover. And then we were playing like IUPUI and Huntington and getting killed by them because they were giving scholarships. And
Yeah, absolutely. Not every school at that time had women's basketball, in within their kind of system. So too, you were playing bigger schools and that because it was a proximity thing and it was an availability of schedule.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which that also is a wild experience.
Yeah.
Because like for us, we would do like an exhibition game. So we would do one like preseason, doesn't count for anything, but we would go over like we played Butler one year. I'm trying to think of who the other, I think we might have played one of the IUPUIs. Yeah, that is a very different
And you're like, oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the Butler game maybe was our junior year when we won it.
Oh, wow.
And so we were like, okay. Yeah. And it's like, some of it is just like, okay, the sheer size of starting lineup makes a big difference. But
And then this funny thing happened my junior year. They hired Wilma Rudolph to be the track coach.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm very serious. And then they also hired her to do something with diversity as well. But I think she was maybe a special assistant to the president at the time. And so I was like, oh, well, I'm going to run track now. I'm going to go back to that.
Amazing.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? So Wilma Rudolph was the coach.
I literally did a presentation on her in 3rd grade, I think.
I mean, yeah, I think everybody did. Incredible. She was the nicest woman.
Based on my presentation research, I can only imagine.
For somebody who she could have just been this really not nice.
Absolutely.
I'm better than everybody. And that was not her. She was just so kind and was living in Indianapolis at the time.
And she coached track at
DePauw. Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Why does our athletic department not talk about that?
Well, she was only here for 2 years. Okay. So it was real brief.
Perfect for your crossover.
It was perfect. It brought me back to where, honestly, precisely where I probably needed to be. Brought me home, so to
Yeah.
speak. So they traveled quite a bit doing things for the university. So
Yeah.
then my senior year, they brought in a young woman. I didn't know it at the time. She was fresh out of the University of Florida. She'd run cross country for them. You know, you don't think about how old people are when you're 21, 22 years old.
Really don't.
And so then she coached me, and I ended up being an All-American just because of her.
incredible.
I mean, it's just, yeah, she saw something,
Yeah.
you know, when people can see what you can't
Yep.
see in yourself.
Yep.
You know, she was the person, she's like,
Amazing.
oh yeah, I think we can get you to nationals. So I was like, okay.
You're like, okay,
Like,
tell me what
all
to
right,
do.
like, okay, let's go for it. Yeah. And then it all just kind of
Yeah.
worked out the way it was supposed to, I think.
How many seasons did you play? All 4 seasons of softball too? If you're years out from your last game and something still feels off, you're not alone. Most retired athletes don't even realize that they're carrying the weight of an identity loss they never processed. We designed a breathwork experience specifically for retired athletes that helps you release what's been sitting in your body since you stopped competing. The emotions you were taught to push down, the doubt, the disconnect. This breathwork is completely virtual and takes less than an hour. I've done breathwork with this facilitator over 100 times, and I promise you, every single session hits different. I used to think breathwork was woo-woo, and now it's a non-negotiable part of my routine. Lifetime access, one purchase. Grab the discount in the description. Did you play all 4 seasons of softball too?
Just the first two.
Just first 2.
So just
okay.
the first 2.
So softball first 2, track
The
second
last 2, basketball all the way through. So always doing something.
I love that you were able to do all those pieces, because for me, so I was 3-sport athlete all through high school in a similar way, which I love hearing you say. I was a better soccer goalie than I was a basketball player at the time, and that it was one of those where I very much had that same,
That's how you saw yourself.
I'm going to follow joy. Like, I knew if I had gone D1 for soccer, it would have been a full-time job. And I was like, I can just feel that I'm going to burn out. I loved it. I still
Yeah.
loved it, all of those pieces. But I was like, every day, even if I'm having an off day, I will want to go to basketball practice,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so following though,
That's a good way to
that
put it. Like the joy.
and-
Because same thing. I knew if I went D1 for track,
Yeah.
they were going to squish it.
That's not everyone's story. And you know, there's tons of people that play all the way through D1. The class 2 years older than me in soccer, I think 6 of them all went D1, maybe 2. I think I can maybe think of 1 or 2 that actually finished all 4 years, which is fine. And everyone has their own journey. But I was like,
Yeah.
I'm following that.
You did the
joy.
right thing.
I will say, we did come in and I was like, so coach, now that I'm here, like, what if I also played soccer? And coach was like, very politely, no. She said, you know what? If it wasn't before basketball season, I would maybe consider it. But in college, women's soccer is a fall sport.
Right.
Again, very nicely was like, well, you're not going to be to season on time. But it makes sense too. Retrospectively, I'm like, that would have been beyond difficult.
Well, and you show up tired, right? I mean,
Absolutely. And to the caliber of the team when I was here at school, you know, we had big things to accomplish. So basketball was definitely the priority.
I think that worked out okay for you.
You know what? It did work out okay. I can say no regrets. You ran with Wilma Rudolph, under Wilma Rudolph. Like, you could have never predicted that.
Oh my gosh,
And
never.
you chose joy.
Yeah.
You followed joy and you had these amazing experiences.
Yeah.
All American.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. It works out the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
You just don't know it because you're dumb and you're young and
Totally. And it's been interesting, even, you know, starting to have these podcasts and talking to more people. I'm fully enjoying all the conversations and the things that we're talking about. I'm glad that the kids who are transitioning out now, the athletes who are approaching their transitions are going to be able to, you know, listen, hear things like that. At that age that I was when you're transitioning out though, would I be ready to hear it? Maybe not. But also there was no conversation around it, no discussion about
no
that
thought, no
transition.
thinking
No
about it,
thought.
nothing.
No thought. You played multiple sports in college. Did you try to play anything beyond your 4 years here at school?
Not initially. So I went to law school
Okay.
right after I graduated.
You knew that was next step.
That was my next step. It's like I wish I'd had like my older self in my ear saying,
know.
"Oh, girl," like
We all do.
But I didn't. And so my first year, I'm in professional school. I think my job is to study, and that's all I did. Like, you
PT
can
school,
relate.
went straight into it. I said that
was-
athlete's done.
I was miserable.
Horrible.
I was so unhappy. I don't know if you had the same experience with yours, but for us, like we didn't even have, you only had final exams. So there was nothing the entire first semester to tell you, am I getting it? Like it was
Yeah,
rough.
your athlete brain didn't love that, did it?
Oh, my family didn't like me. They'd come to visit and I'd be like, I got to study. Like, Yeah, I'm sure I was not nice to be around. I mean, it was super stressful. I mean, I didn't have an outlet, right? I wasn't I was maybe running a little bit,
Yeah.
but I wasn't doing anything team wise,
Yeah.
So yeah, you just kind of come to a screeching halt. I didn't know it at the time. I think I was having a huge identity crisis, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
And after that first year, my grades were okay. And I was like, I don't know if I can come back. Like, that's how serious it was. I was like, I don't know if I like this and what am I doing? And so I was like, okay, I'm not a quitter. I'll come back.
Yeah.
But when I came back, I had a shift. I was like, I'm doing all the things. So we had IM teams for the law
Yep.
school. So I got on
Yep.
the IM football team and I got on
Yep.
the IM basketball team. I mean, the crazy thing is, besides being happier, my grades got better. I was like, I get it.
Do you remember that shift between first year and second year? What helped you realize it? Or like, did you actively have the thought of maybe it wasn't that I was, disliking the law school part of it, but you totally weren't yourself?
Yeah, it was just my life
Yeah.
along with law school it was completely foreign to me.
Yeah. How did you get there to know that you needed to lean back into that?
I'm not sure that it was even something
conscious
that was
and-
conscious. Yeah, I just was like, I can't continue on this way, and so I'm just gonna start having
fun again.
having a better time.
Yeah. And also, that's kind of the only way your body and your brain knew how to function. You had always been doing school and sports. For me, I went straight into school for physical therapy. So I went straight into my doctorate program and same thing. I was like, we have class 8 to 5. Like, I need to be studying. I need to be doing this. I don't have time to do a full hour workout. Blah, blah. Retrospectively, I totally had time. But I was coming off of, you practice for 3 hours. You show up for a 3-hour basketball practice.
Right. Who's got time for that when you're in professional school?
And how am I going to recreate the practices that I had? Anything less than that, not worth it.
Yeah.
Wrong. Like, so wrong. And again, not the way to think about it at all. That piece of, okay, good memories. You were fortunate to play.
On to the next thing.
On to the next thing. Next play.
Yeah.
Next play. Oh, okay, there's not another game that I'm practicing for. And there's that, well, what am I practicing for? I retrospectively remember thinking, well, why do you need to be training? You're not training for anything.
Yeah.
You don't deserve, like literally, you don't deserve to be training. Focus on your studies. Focus on this next thing. Your identity is now physical therapist. That's hard.
It's hard. I think, and I got lucky too. Somehow I met a woman who was in optometry school at the same time that I was. And she was like, hey, there's a group of women that we play pickup basketball on Sunday mornings. You should come.
The doors just
Yes.
open. But sometimes it takes that. Again,
Just a random.
yeah, and thinking back on it, you're like, why wasn't I like, you know what? Let me find this thing.
Yeah, I wasn't looking for
and
it.
again, I was still in a program that had intramurals, things like that. And I did, again, by my second year, I joined the intramural team and started doing things because it's like, you can still be yourself.
Yeah.
And that is still a part of you.
Yeah.
You don't have to say, okay,
It
games
makes
are
you,
done.
to me, it makes you your better self, the self
So
that you're
much
supposed
better.
to be. So yeah, once I discovered these women that played on Sunday mornings, and I was like, yes.
Yes, these are my people. I'm my person now.
Yes.
But it's hard for me, at least thinking back on it. It is that, okay, you play your senior season. You go into your senior year knowing it's going to be your last year. My athletic career is done at the end of this year. Okay, well, no, yes, it is in terms of, organized, highly competitive varsity sport. Your varsity sport career, that athlete piece, it is in you.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
But nobody tells you.
Nobody tells
Like,
you. Move
keep
on
this
to the
part,
next thing.
right? Keep that part.
Yep.
She's good too.
Yeah.
You'll like her.
She's great.
She'll come in handy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
She'll keep you sane while you're doing
Yes.
this.
There is always that conversation of, okay, like what are you doing next? What are you doing after school? And I was joking with my teammate Allie, who we were talking before, and it's like, oh, end of an era. How often is that said when you're like at the end of your sports and they're like, oh, no more games to go to. And you're like,
Right? You're like, what?
wait, but that's the thing that people value about me. That's how I contribute.
Yeah.
And so even just that self-image and kind of that self-worth piece, I find is also like, no, there's other things about you that are great.
Exactly.
Also, just acknowledging that the athlete's still there. Yeah, this thing that people value, like you said, even going back to, your hometown, that's a small hometown. They're like, oh yeah, Jenny played on the women's basketball team. If you're thinking about it internally and viscerally, even to this day, what does it feel like? when someone's like, oh yeah,
I
Jenny,
mean,
the
it
basketball
feels
player.
great, right? Because it's
Totally.
like you think back, you're like that. Like those were some of the best times of your life, right? When you're
Absolutely.
even in the summer, like even though it was mostly playing softball, we'd always be getting together at somebody's house and playing basketball in their driveway
Yeah.
if you couldn't get into the high school, right? I
Sure.
mean, it
Yeah,
just
yeah,
was. It just that's what we did, and
Yeah. And that's where your interests are and all those
those were my
things.
friends. I mean, those. I mean, even now, those are my friends. It's the women that I played sports
Yeah.
with growing up.
Now, we're in law school. You've found this group of women. You're starting to play IM leagues, all of that. Have you just played sport, participated in sport ever since? No looking back.
Kind of. I mean,
Yeah.
as you age, things
Absolutely.
change.
Absolutely.
Also, during law school, I discovered the softball leagues in Bloomington.
Amazing.
So, and it was funny. Like I joined this team, and even though I'm very athletic,
Yeah.
I'm new to them. They don't know me, and so I sit the bench. I'm okay. I'm okay with that, right? Like I'm just here. Want
I'm
to be on the
excited to
team.
be here.
Eventually, they were like, "Oh, maybe we should let her play a little bit." So, and I ended up playing in softball leagues. I mean, I probably started playing softball when I was 7, and I finally stopped when I was 50.
Amazing.
Mostly because my chiropractor was like, "I could keep working on your feet, but at
I
some
could
point,
keep
maybe
doing
you
it,
should."
but maybe let's shift a little bit.
Yeah. And so, but even basketball, like most of us were probably around 40, and then we're like, let's play golf, right? Like, let's do
love
something we're not going to hurt ourselves.
Yeah.
And so I did, but I missed that. Like sometimes I'll go to the Y and I'll just shoot around by myself just because I'm like I was thinking on the way over, I'm like, I haven't touched a basketball for a while. Like maybe I need to get to the Y and
Yes.
just shoot around.
What's the draw to shooting around for you?
I don't know. I mean, you can't play softball by yourself, right? I mean, so you can shoot by yourself. Usually, if you're shooting long enough, somebody comes over, right? And so I think that's a bit of a magnet.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times, it'll be a guy that comes over,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, hey, you can play." I'm like, "You're like,
yeah.
yes, I can."
You're like, thank you.
I know, right?
Thank you
You're
for
like, "Oh yeah, like
acknowledging.
yeah." I mean, women can play basketball too.
And it is. That's been my most recent no former athlete moment for me personally is like, I like the external validation. And it's okay to like it.
They're like, "Ooh, good form."
It's okay to like it. Yeah, you're like, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for acknowledging
Many years of practice.
these things. I am very good at shooting a free throw. I don't have to show it off very often. Alex and I were shooting in Long Beach. We have a court that's right next to a pickleball court.
Sweet. I discovered that recently.
We did too. And then there's basketball courts right there too. So periodically, one time we were just there and Alex shooting her free throws. I'm rebounding for her. Always have to end on 2 made free throws.
Always.
And we're shooting and then Alex just stops and she's like, what a skill that we have. That we spent hours on doing this one skill that we never have to use again.
That really doesn't transfer.
It really transfers to nothing. Yes, there are so many things about athletics, all of that transfer over, that make you, a hard worker, make you competitive, make you able to,
Surely the hand-eye coordination can come in handy somewhere just
sure
in
we could
regular
get there
life.
somewhere.
It is funny. My office, of all the things, we have a Papa Shot. You know those things?
Yes.
And so we always pull it out when it's March Madness.
Love it.
I work with lawyers and so people, they weren't athletes.
Interesting.
And if people don't know me,
Yeah.
and I'll start, and so the key to the Papa Shot is you got to bank it. Yeah. And so I'll just go, ka-kung, 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 and there's like 6 in a row, and everybody's going, what? And I'm just like,
Come on.
It's like, you never lose the form, right?
Yeah, you just don't. For me too, the feeling when you do that,
Mm-hmm.
it feels good.
And the sound that the net makes. Yeah, I mean, it's all
so visceral.
Yep.
It's so visceral.
Yeah. Like to me, like even going to games, hearing the ball bounce and hearing the shoes squeak and like it's a thing.
Where were we? It was a couple years ago now. Well, and one of our teammates is coaching up at Milwaukee School of Engineering. And so she's coaching D3. And a couple years ago, for whatever the reason, my brain had built up. And I truly think it was a lack of hearing other people talk about it. I was like, oh, everyone else is doing so great. They just transitioned out of their sport and they're just moving on to the next thing. They're fulfilled in that. They're not still doing all these things. So I'm like, I hadn't been in a gym. I hadn't been to a game in years. And we went to her game and legitimately just walking in and just hearing the squeak of the layup line, of the warm up. Yes. I grew up in a family We all played multiple sports. The news wasn't really ever on the TV. Sports Center was.
Oh, heck yeah.
That was, you turn the TV on, the channel that was turned off the night before is going to be ESPN. Like literally it was just, there was always sports. My wife, Alex, her family grew up not doing that. Her sister also played sports, but neither of her parents actually played any sports. And then she ended up being the kid that played like 5 in high school. You're an anomaly, but didn't grow up with sports on. I didn't really like realize it, but just in our normal flow of the day, like we weren't watching sports on TV as much. And then I'm like, you know what? I love watching sports. And now I'm WNBA. Okay, what games are on tonight? NWSL, like what games are, but also we can see the women's sports easier. Still having to switch between channels. We'll take it for now, then also get them all on the same channel. But
I love it that little girls get to see that. I mean, I at least got to see women playing professional tennis and golf,
Absolutely.
right? So it wasn't a complete unknown.
Yeah.
And even with living in Bloomington, so I have season tickets for
Yes.
women's basketball, and oh my
Yes.
gosh, like
they've been good.
little girls and little
recently.
boys
Yes.
that come to the games, and
Yep. And again, it's seeing it and seeing that piece of it, that athlete and that sport within our society, right? It's like, obviously these are huge industries. These are huge businesses.
oh yeah.
It's valued. It's valued in our culture. You being an athlete is like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I love that people have finally caught up to how great women's sports are, but I'm like, I've been telling you this for 30 years.
Yes, there's a brand that I love, Playa Society. I don't know if you've seen any of their shirts, but literally at this year's Final Four, they did a pop-up at the Final Four, and they made shirts that were like, for all of those new to women's basketball, we've been telling you. And I was like, yeah, you need that shirt. You need that shirt.
Oh, that's great.
It is. It's just that piece of, all right, thanks for being here. Also now listen. Don't just join and then start putting your things on.
Right.
Women's sports, listen. Take it in. We've all been here. We've all been here this whole time. It's been amazing for a long time. But even like we were talking about before we came in here, for us here at DePauw, we were able to have tremendous success. That came from all of you guys building those seasons before, building the program before, passing that down, having it be a thing that was here for it to progress and to grow.
Yeah, one of the things that I remember when I was a senior on the basketball team, we got a new coach.
Yeah.
And so, when you're a senior, you get a new coach. I mean, you're not the future, right?
Yeah.
I think one of the smartest things she did, her name was Lori Herman.
Yeah.
And she said, hey, why don't you help me recruit? And so she sent us
That's
out.
incredible.
And one of my proudest things is that we brought Deb Zeller. She was one of the players that I got to help recruit. And
amazing.
yeah. And I could look at her and I'm like, oh yeah, like,
Yep.
I played a part in that. I mean, how many coaches would do that? I mean, at the time I was like, wow, really? I'm like,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So smart.
Oh, completely smart.
You guys are invested. This is your team. This is your program. When you don't have success all the time, it's like, okay, here's the things that would make this better.
Yeah.
Here's the things that,
Here's the players we want to start to get and bring in.
the teams that we play against. These are the players that we want to be on our team, that we want to fill that with.
Yeah. So that was, it was a genius move.
Yeah. Do you feel like being able to kind of step back into that track role and have some good success at the end of it? Do you feel like you needed that?
I think I needed the break. I probably didn't realize it. And part of it too was me being a little like 18, 19-year-old, a little full of myself.
Okay.
They didn't, at the time, there wasn't a full-time women's coach for track. And so at the time I was like, I feel like I know how this is going to go. So I'm going to try something new.
Interesting.
And my parents were so good about like, hey, you're in college. Go do new things. Try new stuff. Don't feel like you have to already know who you are. You're 18 years old. And so I really took it to heart.
That's fantastic.
The other thing that was difficult, and I think probably my teammates were upset when I did it, I did a semester abroad. And so I missed the first part of the season when I was a junior. I left as the leading scorer. And again, I had this heart-to-heart with my dad, and he's like, this is why you came to a small school.
Yeah.
Not so you could miss out on everything because winter term, we never got to do winter term.
We were the 2-semester season.
Yes.
Right?
And so he was right. He's like, basketball won't be your life, moving forward. And so I was like, okay. And so I spent the semester in Vienna because of that. I have this love of travel and saw, this was in 1986 when it was still the Iron Curtain in that part of the country. And so I've been to countries that don't exist anymore. I mean, got to go to Russia when it was still the Soviet Union and just had some amazing experiences that
Totally.
I would have kicked myself, I think, if I had not
Yep.
done that.
Yeah, that's a big part of DePauw too, right? It's like they create wonderful study abroad opportunities, winter term, May term. We were the lucky ones again, that yeah, we could never travel on winter term, which is when a lot of students do an abroad program.
Yep.
And so for us, when we were in school, there weren't nearly as many options in that, but they made some May terms, and it ended up being a lot of swimmers and basketball players.
Yeah.
Also, like you said, the importance of having those experiences as well are so highly valued that exactly that. It's like put the work and the effort into making those opportunities so that people don't have to miss their seasons. I can only imagine, knowing that the athlete that you are, that was probably a really hard choice.
It was, but you'll laugh at me what I did.
As athletes, we're taught to compartmentalize everything, push it down, stay focused, win. But that doesn't always serve us as adults. So we designed a breathwork experience specifically for retired athletes. It isn't talk therapy, it's a somatic release that helps you process a decade of suppressed emotions in one powerful session. It's completely virtual and takes less than an hour. Grab your discount code in the description. I can only imagine, knowing that the athlete that you are, that was probably a really hard choice.
It was, but you'll laugh at me what I did. So I took a deflated basketball with me
There she is.
and a pump.
There she is.
Before, because this was an 86, so
Yeah.
before people really were clamping down on what you could take in your luggage.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I never found a place to actually
Shoot.
I never found a gym. They had to exist. I just couldn't find it.
Yeah.
But I had my basketball out in the
Yeah, you
driveway.
did.
And
Oh, I love this.
so, yeah, I'm sure the people that I stayed with thought I was insane. Like,
They're like, here goes this
like,
ball girl
like
again.
there she is about bouncing that ball again.
Here's this ball bouncer.
I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I got something to get back to.
Yeah. You're like, when I get back, we're middle of the season. I got to be ready to hop on that court.
Yeah. And so, and I made them promise, like, send me, of course, before you had cell phones. And
yes.
like, I only called my parents once a week because it was expensive
pay
to
for
call,
it.
right? Like, so I said, please send me letters and let me know how the team's doing and let me know about
Yeah.
practice. And so I was like, I want to know what's going on.
I am glad you had that opportunity, though.
Oh, it was
That's
great.
amazing.
I mean, it just, yeah, I can't imagine. I made it back to Vienna when I turned 50. That was my trip I wanted to take.
Fantastic.
So that was pretty great.
Yeah, that's really good.
Because then once you've done that, like, you really get bit by the travel bug.
Very much so. Well, and I remember for me, pre-college, I had never been abroad. I was fortunate to travel quite a bit. It was all based around sports.
Right.
But my mom had study abroad experiences in her college experience. And so she had always talked about how amazing it was and all of that. And I remember that being a big piece of it where it's like, well, when you play college basketball, it's you start in the fall, you go into the spring. And so you don't have, again, unless you miss part of the season, you're not able to spend a whole semester abroad, which for me would have been like, yeah, I'm the type of student, the type of person that would have loved to do that. And I remember that being a big thing. And so I actually was able to do there's like a Servicio program. And so it's like an immersion Spanish program that went to Costa Rica before school started.
Okay.
Because I wasn't sure that I would ever be able to get a study abroad during classes and that. We were fortunate enough to be able to do a May term to Italy in sophomore, junior year. Being able to fit these things around the sport and to find those pieces to make it all work, because there is just that draw, and it's like, that's a big part of my identity.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know?
that was really hard for me to do.
Yeah.
It was so hard. But I was like,
bet.
at the same time, I'm like,
That was your only option.
I really wanted,
That was your
just
only
like, I
option
really
to
wanted
have.
to do it. And like I said, my dad and I had this heart to heart. He's like,
Yeah.
what's stopping you?
I think I would have done the same thing. Like, even knowing that, attachment to it and the identity piece.
Yeah.
But again, that was
I look
the
back at
option.
at 58, I look back at my 20-year-old self. I'm like, oh, I'm pretty proud of myself
like,
that I did that.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't easy.
Yeah. Choosing the basketball for joy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big move. It's a really big move.
Sometimes I think, wow, like, what was I thinking?
And at the time, sometimes I'm just like, because of course now, so we have season tickets to Angel City, the women's soccer team out in LA. So now it's like I find myself almost watching more soccer than I do basketball. Still watch a lot of both. But sometimes I'm just sitting there like, wow, what a bold move as a self-proclaimed very indecisive person, very much a, recovering people pleaser. We're working through all those things. That was the one thing. And I do remember it being by junior year, my parents and I had a conversation. It was always fully my decision, but they're like, you're going to have to choose, at least choose which one's going to be the main one, which one you really want to, pursue in terms of talking to college coaches, all of that. That was a very, very bold decision, not just to continue with what you can probably get athletic money for and for the things that, you're quote unquote better in. It dictates a lot about identity and about the decisions that we all make.
I'm thankful that I saw myself as a basketball player. It probably helped that at least I grew up in Central Indiana, so when I was it was like the golden age of girls basketball. Like it was just becoming a thing in the late 70s, and so when I got to high school in probably 1981, like girls basketball was it. I mean, it was just
you're gonna play. It was the thing. It was the sport to be playing.
It was the sport. It was still a single class, and so like when you hit sectionals, everybody had a chance. And so my junior year, we were undefeated. And then lost in the semi-state. Went back to the semi-state as a senior. And it was like the town shut down and everybody went. I think we played at Ben Davis High School in Indy. And everybody went to the game at Ben Davis. And then you got back and there was like a parade and, a convocation and everybody. I mean, it was just like, I think now, I hope they still do those things. Yeah. But man, that was good stuff.
That was good stuff. I'm getting goosebumps for you.
Yeah, it was so great.
There's so many things in life, and yes, there's big moments and there's exciting things and there's things that you're celebrated for, but it's to be a part of that winning team and have that whole, again, it's external validation, right?
Yeah.
It's everyone shut down the town for the thing that, I'm leading or I'm a part of, and that's huge.
Yeah.
And sport does create that.
Mm-hmm.
And that also makes us who we are.
Yeah, it's connection. I mean, that's, for basketball, only one team's going to end out and the season winning, right? And so for me, then track always it was the pick-me-up.
Yes.
And then it's so individual.
Mm-hmm.
Either I do well or don't do well based on me. Yep. And so then it was always kind of a nice counterpoint to the basketball season. Yeah. I mean, I loved team sports and always gravitated there, but
it did. It gave you something that then was fully in your control.
Correct.
And so it's totally just a different mind space. And I never played individual sport. Again, I know all the individual sports are still a part of a team. I know.
But they're different.
They are different. They're so different. And honestly, I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know if other people feel this way. Post playing in college and that transition for me into PT school, I always had played a team sport. I just showed up to practice and was told what my workout was going to be. And that transition out, even though I was in PT school, I was, around exercise, I was around fitness, we were, learning all the things. A little bit of that, again, not talking about all PTs, but for me personally got in my way because the athlete perfectionist, well, if you're going to practice it, you better practice it right and you better practice it well. That perfectionist piece was okay, well, I can't really see where my scapula are while I'm doing this exercise. You know what I mean? All these things. Plus I had never played an individual sport where it was all me and you're just improving yourself so that you're better at this thing for you. I realized I always worked out. I always made myself better, purely driven for me to be better for my team. It sounds so bad now, but it didn't feel worth it for me to only get better for myself.
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
Again, not the right way to think about it. You are worth the effort.
But that's all if that's all you know.
That's all I knew. That's all I knew. My recent goal is, okay, Erin, I'm putting this out there now, I guess, officially. By this fall, pick an adult league. It can be anything, but I'm going to make myself sign up for it. I have this barrier. I can tell that a part of it is you've let yourself not play for this long. You're not going to step back out on the court and be like, oh, she's a good athlete. Okay, yeah, she played sports growing up, but like you said, when you first joined that softball team and then you kind of sat on the bench and you were like, I'm just happy to be here. I need to give myself permission to feel that way.
Yeah, just be part of it.
We're still working on that part because I'm not great at joining and doing things I'm not good at. I'm very good at those moments of, I was able to step in and then it was like, oh, yeah, okay, we want Erin to play. Like we want her to be on the field. We want her to be on the court. Totally ego. Totally that sport ego, that athlete ego, that same thing that you feel when the whole town's around you for the bus and you're like, yeah, I'm leading that. It's like, okay, Erin, you're now 32 And it's okay to not be the star. You haven't been practicing like you're the star of it. You haven't been practicing,
Mm-hmm.
in that same amount. So I love hearing you say that. And I think it is so important to allow yourself to be the athlete that you are.
Yeah, even if you're not doing the things like I really miss having a team sport, but I'm like, I really don't want to get hurt either.
Absolutely.
I mean, I do
Absolutely.
at some point, your body just doesn't want to do those things anymore.
Totally.
And so now
Yeah.
for me, it's like it's functional fitness
I love that.
and cycling and doing things that are better for my knees and
Yes.
riding my mountain bike and
Love it.
pickleball, but doubles, not singles.
Yes, yes, yes. I've never been the racket bat club sport type person. I just had a lot of parameters,
Yeah.
Had to be a team sport. The ball
Yeah.
had to come in contact with your hand.
I love it. I love it.
We've been exploring pickleball, which is
Well, it's fun because it's like, I mean, it feels like table tennis a little bit,
yes,
right?
yes.
So it's not,
that multi-direction.
Yes.
It flips you back into
yeah, it's good for you.
flips you back into that basketball mode, and you can feel it, right? It's like when you run one direction,
Mm-hmm.
one plane, you're doing this, and as soon as you have to take that
Oh, I
that
bought
lateral step,
I bought court shoes because I was
bet you
like, you wear these things, you're going to get hurt.
we literally, the last time that we played, it's now been a second because we've had some travel and stuff, but the last time we played, we were both like, we're gonna have to be those people. We gotta
Like,
get
it's time.
shoes. It's time. I was
Yeah.
like, we gotta get shoes.
That's so funny.
When you play a sport, you have the shoe for that sport for a reason. And there are those moments where it's like, okay, yeah, we also don't want to injure ourselves while we're working back into sport life.
Your 50-year-old self will thank you for wearing the right shoes. I will tell you that right
Fair
now.
enough. Fair enough. All right, I'm taking it. I'm taking it from Jenny.
Yes, do it.
Jenny said, get the shoes.
The joke at my office is I mostly just wear these.
Yes.
I've had a lot of foot problems. And if my feet hurt, then
Then
you're
the
all,
rest of me.
you're all going to know it,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Believe me, you don't want my feet to
let's
hurt.
keep my feet happy.
You don't want my feet.
But if I have on the grown-up shoes, like, oh, she must have a meeting.
Oh, she's going in for that important meeting.
Putting on the dance goes.
Yeah. You mentioned a little bit earlier working around lawyers, and a lot of them didn't play sports.
Yeah, a lot of
What
my
is that
coworkers have not been athletes.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they find me to be insufferable at times.
Seriously. What
Especially
part?
when it's basketball season. Like, especially like sometimes I'll walk down the hall and I'm like, hey, everybody, basketball season's starting today.
I love that.
And I'm like, let's go. And they're just like looking at me like,
This
what?
lady.
Because I can talk sports all day, every day with anybody. And I like it. It's,
Yes.
and even people who weren't athletes, you can talk sports with, right?
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
yeah, sometimes I'm like, oh, so-and-so left, and now who am I going to talk? Who am I
Yeah.
going to talk
You're like, that
sports
was my
with?
sport person.
Like, okay, like I hope the next person can talk
Yeah.
sports. So I think sometimes, and I'm still very team, so I work in an office. I'm very team oriented, and I'll give people little team pep talks. And
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's like, they're like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, it's all I know.
Yeah. Totally.
I'm like,
Totally.
just go with it.
You're like, this is how my brain works. My brain totally works. But there are those pieces where it's like, yeah, even when people are hiring people and are going through that whole process, a lot of times they will look for athletes.
Oh, yeah.
The strength and the power in that team perspective and being able to work in different settings is very important.
I've gotten the reputation that if we have somebody new, they're sent to me. I can talk to anybody, right?
Yes.
I mean, even if they're not an athlete, but just being able to
That is
connect with people and
Yeah, I love that you just said that because I have actively had people that as an adult, some of my friends or people that I've worked with in the past, they just are like, how do you just get along with everyone? It's funny now that I live on the West Coast and things, and not that it's a huge difference, but sometimes I'll attribute it back to like, oh, well, like I grew up in the Midwest, so there's also a piece of that where
for sure.
you're not as, abrupt and blatant about things. I will say my Midwest caveat, I always tell people, oh, everyone is so nice. And I'm like, there are a lot of nice people. Also, everyone's very polite. They're polite and they might not totally be on board with what you're saying, but they'll be nice about it. Like they'll be polite about it. It is interesting how you have all different types of teammates. You have a common goal. One of the biggest lessons, and I remember it distinctly in junior high, I had to learn the whole, you don't have to be best friends with all your teammates, but you have to be teammates. You have to get the job done on the court.
That's right.
At the time, you're kind of like, well, yeah, but it's just driving me crazy, you know? And it's like, no, but there's a real point to that.
Mm-hmm.
Tons of my best friends and majority of my best friends, you know, are from sports and that. But there is that piece of you make it work. They're a teammate in this setting, in this situation.
Absolutely.
Even if we've got the biggest differences in the world, got to find a way to make it work.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it all translates.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even though maybe our identity doesn't always make the transition,
Yeah.
the team aspect of it still does.
Totally. You talked about that identity loss that you didn't realize was there at the start. How long did it take you to really kind of put those words to it, put that language to it?
Oh my gosh, probably, I bet 20 years. And it was when and I can't remember who I was talking to now. I was talking to a group, and they might have been DePauw athletes who wanted to go on to either law school or some kind of professional school. And I told the story, and then I was like I've never told that story before. And so what I tell people now, like Ava, who's my intern now, and I tell her, I'm like, when you go to school, don't stop doing these things. You will thank me look for opportunities for, and I think she's a multi-sport athlete too. It's like, look for opportunities to continue to do these things. It doesn't have to be
basketball per se.
Yeah. Just something to kind of have that part of your life still sparking.
Yeah. When you're not playing anymore and when you have that transition, it is that piece of, okay, well, I can't recreate it in the same way. Okay, well, you know, yeah, but like I can't play with my team anymore. I only want to play if I'm with my team. That is a total thing.
Yeah.
That's totally
It's just different.
It's just different. And it's that acknowledgement that it's going to be different. And it's that redefining, it's that rephrasing. It's going to be different.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And it's also okay to be sad about it not being the same.
Right. Or for it to be over.
Thank goodness it didn't have to be over senior year of high school, right?
Yeah. I mean, and for most people it is.
Absolutely. So again, I think
and
there's
then you got a nice little piece of hardware.
Yeah, we do. We do have a nice little piece of hardware. And even within that, and until I was talking to, you know, some of my teammates from that team, it's like, you're a national champion. You won a national championship. Yeah, be happy.
You will always be a national champion.
Always be a national champion. I had that moment where truly when I started doing some of, you know, no former athlete work and all of that, it was hard for me to physically say I'm an athlete. It's getting better. I still get this little tick. Just like this little tick in the back of my brain, even just saying it aloud to you right now. I am an athlete, but I couldn't go win a national championship right now because it's like, I'm not performing in the same way. But it's like, that's not it. That's not what.
You're going to drop that butt out of there.
Exactly. That's not what that athlete part is.
Right.
And you can apply that to any, you know, big win, being an All-American.
Right.
I am an All-American. You are never not going to be an All-American.
Exactly.
And so it's like in the same way, okay, you are an athlete.
Yeah.
I was an athlete. Again, that gets used so much more. So people are like, oh, yeah, former athlete. Like, I was an athlete. It's like that was a part of your life and you have done it and it will never not be a part of your life.
Yeah, you can't turn it off.
You can't turn it off. You can try.
You can try.
You can lie to yourself. You can lie to yourself, but you cannot turn it off.
I think we've all tried it. And
we've all tried. And it usually goes very poorly.
Very poorly.
Thank you for being there with us, too.
Yeah.
At the national championship.
Yes, I can't tell you, as a woman who had been in the program, it was so validating. I'm just like.
Somewhere between your last game and now, you disconnected from your body. We designed a breathwork experience specifically for retired athletes. It's therapeutic, it's transformative, and it helps you release the limiting beliefs and the self-doubt that have been holding you back since you stopped competing. The whole thing is virtual, it's less than an hour, and it's done from wherever you are. Use the listener discount code in the description.
It's like, this is the best.
The connections and the, you know, GBT, like that strength of, yeah, we like see each other. We've totally met before during that year and that, but even when we got together again today, it's like, oh yes, we get to hang out now and get to know each other even more because it's just like, that's there. Once again, it's not going to go away.
And even at that, when it was at Hope, and I remember meeting other women who came, and I'm going to forget names now, but there was one player, I think from the team that went to the Final Four, so in maybe 2002.
Yeah.
Her sister had run track with me.
No kidding.
It was so funny. And I was like,
fantastic.
oh yeah. We ran some relays together.
Oh, I love that.
So just that little connection.
And in that same way of oh yeah, okay. All right, you're done playing sports. Like, put the athlete away. And then we find ourselves watching games and still at games and we're like, come on.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Like, I mean, yeah, that athlete isn't there anymore.
Yeah. My friends that I have tickets with at the IU games, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't just watch the game and like I'm telling Terry Morin what to do. I know she can hear me,
Yeah, she can totally hear
and I know
me.
she appreciates it.
Yep,
So
yep. I
you
actually
just
saw her taking
gotta,
notes about what I said the other day.
and then I tell the referees what to do
Oh,
too.
well, they're
So.
always looking for, feedback, comment cards, feedback.
It's like
But
I did coach for a minute, girls high school basketball in Bloomington. Maybe I had just graduated law school. So
okay.
for the first couple of years until it just was like 25 years I've been driving from Bloomington to Indy to work. And so we always practiced late so I could make it. And then
Yeah.
it was like, this is not sustainable. I can't do it. But boy, when we were doing it, I loved it.
I know.
That was great too. And just seeing, and even now I'll see those girls are now grown women.
Yes.
I'll see them in Bloomington and they're like, Coach Jenny.
Coach. Oh,
I mean, it's so sweet. It's like,
Yeah.
oh.
yeah, that's really cool. That's
Same with Chris. I mean, she'll always be Coach Huffman to you.
Yep,
And
absolutely. I talked to Coach this weekend on the podcast and that, and
oh, fun.
even talking to her through it, she's like, not gonna lie, kind of a cheat code. She's like, I've never not had a basketball season. I was like, yeah, Coach, how you doing? How you doing? And she
Seriously.
was like, I'm waiting to find that next cheat code. I haven't yet, but it's so much a part of you. And in life, there's big life events.
And you just,
And you're just trying to make it work. We're all trying to do our best. The more that, the conversation's out, the more that we can all talk about, like, it is not a happy time when even if you finish your collegiate career on a national championship, even if you have that win, you're like, I did it. What is better? We were juniors that year.
yeah.
But for like our three classmates who are seniors, like they literally ended. And I've talked to some of them, and some of them have been on the podcast already. And guess what? They go through all the same things.
Exactly.
Even if you end it all on a win.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that what you're doing can maybe spark conversations.
I hope.
Like while players are still like their senior years, like, hey, think about this as you move on to the next phase of your life. Like your athletic life doesn't need to stop.
Totally. It doesn't need to stop. You can have other interests while you're still are competing as an athlete, and leaning into that for the people that don't know what graduate program they want to go on to, that don't know what kind of job they want to go on to. Like there is room and space for all of it, but let the athlete still live.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Let her still be there because she will be anyway.
Oh yeah, she's
She
there.
will be
So
anyway.
just
She'll either just cause issues of you trying to suppress her, or you can just accept her.
just embrace her and just
Embrace
let her
her.
be. Right.
She just wants to be embraced.
I love it.
Oh, any other thoughts? Anything else that, this no former athlete life has led you to, has made you want to put out into the world?
I'm totally going to start. And I don't know if I've ever referred to myself as a former college athlete. If I did, I'm never going to do it again.
I know.
I think that's so, it's on point.
you.
I like it so much. I'm like, yes,
you.
like that's it.
Yeah.
Because they're not a former athlete.
Even in the naming of this, and Alex was the one who came up with it, and we're working on a documentary component of her going through her Ironman training and working to reclaim that identity too. And she just said the name to me and I was like, yes. And then we were like, with branding stuff and a lot of things that people put out, Instagram bio and all of that, like, oh, like I work with former athletes, da 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 da. And it's like every time I hear it, I'm just like, former doesn't exist because it's always there. And so then we were like, as we're explaining these things, making our trailer, all of that, we're like, okay, wait, what language do we use for that? And so it's like retired is a piece of it, because there is that transition out of the competitive portion. So it's like you retire from the competitive portion. It's just a no former athlete. Like that just has become the word that we use, because it's like, oh yeah. So I've been talking to other no former athletes because it at least puts that piece and it's that identity.
Because retired doesn't quite get it either.
No. And in my brain, that's like the Sioux Birds that are able to, play their, career into their 40s and all of that.
Right.
It's like they're retiring because that truly is the profession that they've moved into.
When I retire from my attorney job.
Absolutely. You will be retired.
That will be an actual retirement.
For those of us that, don't have that professional sports career, you're not done because you're going to keep playing all of that. But it's like the competitive organized team sport part of it is, okay, you're 21, 22. You've got more of your life out of sport than in sport.
For sure.
So let the sport keep going and also acknowledge those other things about you and acknowledge that this is so important for a lot of athletes. It's their priority number one. It's the whole thing that they base their friend groups around. They base their weekends around. It controls everything. Mm-hmm. A chosen control.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
I'm thankful at growing up that I didn't have the pressure to pick a sport.
Yes.
and only do that sport.
Yes.
And so because of it, I liked everything.
Absolutely.
Once my competitive life was over, then I could go, oh, okay, now I'll go back to playing
lean
slow pitch
into these
softball
other-
and I can play on these other teams and
Yeah.
and not go, oh, well, I don't really do that anymore, so I guess that's done. I feel for kids now who are really forced to pick something and then get maybe burned out on it.
There's a lot of that. Yeah. And I still remember again, fortunate, my parents, were super committed to do the sports that you want to do. There were very minimal rules around it. You can't stop in the middle of a season. If you commit to a team, you finish that team.
Yep.
If you don't want to try out for the next year, you don't have to. Retrospectively, I'm like, man, they crushed this part of it in the sense of, even if it was a travel team I'd played on for years and it was a team, every year you still have to have a tryout, but we all knew who was going to be on the team. There were very rarely kind of new people that came to the tryouts. Every single year though, do you want to try out for the team this year? Yeah. Obviously. Go to tryouts. So like, you made the team. Well, yeah, I tried out for the travel team I played on last year. Like, yeah. And then like, okay, do you want to play? Yes.
Like, yeah.
Yes. Why
Like,
is
where's
this
this
the question
coming
every
from?
time? But now that I look back, I'm like, they really gave me that autonomy. That way too, when I was halfway through soccer season, I was like, I do not want to go to practice. My mom's like, that is perfectly fine for you to feel that way, but you committed to the team at the beginning of the season. And at the end of the
You're
season every
going.
year, you try it out again. Yes. Okay, just remember last year. There is that piece of the autonomy of the commitment. You choose it, you love it, but it frames everything around you.
And I think that serves me well, 30 plus years into my legal career. It's like we had the same thing. You don't quit.
Yep.
And if you decide you don't want to continue, you're going to be the one that tells the coach.
Uh-huh.
And so it was like, and so you're like, oh, okay, then I really better think about this. And
Absolutely.
but so even now it's like I'll be doing some things at work and I'm like, ugh. I'm like, nope, like I'm committed.
Yep.
Let's get her done.
For you too, playing those multi-sports and being able to be a part of multiple things. And you got to play multiple sports in college too, which I'm stoked for you for that. I still have those moments where I'm like,
I didn't know any better, right?
Totally.
I just was doing my thing.
Yeah, but you're so right too with that specialization. I remember, I think junior high even, I was starting to hit that point where people were starting to want to make kids specialize. And luckily my parents, they asked me and I was like, absolutely not.
It is such a disservice.
I'm playing all three.
I hate that for young kids, boys and girls.
Totally.
It just...
Totally. And my
You're
parents,
all in on one thing.
Yeah, my parents went to bat for me and talked to my club coach and they were like, if she's going to not make the team because of it, okay, then she doesn't make the team, but like she's committed to it. We are going to my parents were masters at the calendar. We'd have calendar meetings, every week. And it was like, okay, this weekend, luckily they're all in town, or sometimes it was like, okay, tournament is out of town, so like this takes priority. School sport always took priority over club sport at the time, but then on the weekends when I'd have like 2 club things, it's like, okay, well actually if you go and play these 3 basketball games here, we can actually drive back and you can get to these 2 volleyball games Saturday morning. So they were masters about that. I loved it. That same coach then maybe like there was like a younger version of our team that was about, a lot of my teammates had siblings that were all about like 3-4 years younger than us. And they came back around and the coach ended up saying like, thank you for pushing us and allowing Erin to be a multi-sport, like for me to still do my multi-sport, because the cross training, it saved me. I was always playing 2 sports. And I don't need to knock on wood. My brain wants to knock on wood, but I didn't have any major injuries growing up. I had no major injuries.
Same here.
And I played all the way through. I know everyone's not that lucky, and it's not that it can always be prevented in that way, but I know for a fact
that has to contribute to it.
It contributed for me, and it, all my sports cross-trained so well. I was a goalie for soccer, so again, they literally all all cross-trained. He was like thanking my parents too for pushing back a little bit at that time of like, no, we're going to do this. And it's so important. And I do, from that perspective, now there's some studies and there's some research behind it. Even some of the like Super Bowl winning teams, they'll put out lists of what those kids played in high school. I want to say it's like 70 to 80% of the players played multiple sports in high school.
Yeah. A lot of Division I coaches, they want the athletes because they're athletes. They want the ones who have done all of it. They think they're more coachable and just have better attitudes. And I hate that for the young people now. It's like they're missing out.
It's so true. Well, thank you.
And this has been fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully, as my first experience
Yes.
in a podcast. This was
This
comfortable.
Could lead to more.
Great conversation.
You are fantastic.
If you enjoyed this episode, please rate and review. You taking that 5 minutes makes a huge difference and helps us to be able to make more episodes like this. And if you want to see more content in between the episodes, follow us at No Former Athlete on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I'm so glad you're a part of this No Former Athlete community. And if you know any No Former Athletes that you think I should get in touch with, DM me on Instagram at No Former Athlete. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.